are you all the way over there? Why? Nobody lives by the airport. Get your ass in the city. Yes, spend an extra coin. Otherwise, you're gonna be spending it in Ubers. So for me, I'm like, I knew that Barranco and Miraflores was gonna be the place to be. You know, that's where the party at. That's where the food at. That's where the people at. So I'm like, let me book me an Airbnb within Miraflores or Barranco, and that's what I did. Okay, duh. Hi, y'all. Bienvenidos. If you're new here, my name is daljiimarax. I am your new favorite solo travel content creator. Yep, I already made a decision for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now you're part of the family and you done got that out the way. Okay, welcome back. So I'm here to talk about Peru. I know y'all checked out all the Peru vlogs, like duh, that's why y'all came here, duh, whatever. So this was one of my most complex vacations ever. And it's just because this trip had a lot of moving pieces to it. Like, I'm gonna just be honest, like, baby, if you ain't got no street smarts, you gonna get lost in this, okay? But it also a lot of this shit was very last minute, but I'm not ashamed of it. So let's talk about how to have a successful trip in Peru. Okay, Lima and Cusco specifically. First things first, I'm from Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, excuse me. So I can only go to Lima. I can't just go straight to Cusco. That's gonna be too much, too complex. So I'm like, duh, let me just make two trips into this one, like duh. So I took a 10-day trip to Peru. Flew down to Lima. We in Lima, bitch. Ah! Got baggage claim. I'm hot as hell because I got this Ivy Park jacket on there because my bag was above the weight limit, so I had to put some stuff on. Baby, weather was beautiful. This is the beginning of February, so it's cold in Atlanta. So baby, I'm coming from wearing jackets to a mini skirt, okay, all in 20 hours. So pull up to Lima, bought my flight on Google Flights, flew Spirit unfortunately, but baby, I had to get that cheap flight, okay? I had to get that cheap flight, so Spirit had to do what it had to do, okay? Yeah. So anyway, get to freaking Peru, get scanned by my taxi driver because he told me it was 40 soles to take me to my Airbnb. Ended up being 40 USD. But you know what? I didn't fight it. It was in the middle of the night. He got my black ass, so I had to do what I had to do, okay? But never again will I ever take a taxi from the airport. I will always do Uber unless I, book some type of car service. Never take a damn taxi from the airport. You will get scammed, and that's not even exclusive to Peru. They will do that shit anywhere. Always get you a damn Uber. Anyway, pull up to my Airbnb. View is beautiful, child. Okay, I had to book me a nice little high rise in Barranco, right next to Miraflores, so everything was walking distance. Didn't have to take Ubers everywhere. Could have, but I'm a walker. I'm the type that like to walk everywhere. I like cities that are very walkable. Like when I tell y'all, the only thing keeping me from living in New York City is the cost of living in snow. Other than that, I would be there because I love a walkable city. Love a walkable city. So anyway, pull up to Lima. It's lit, boo. First of all, woke up bright and early the next day after unpacking my Airbnb. Went ahead and got breakfast. Then I booked a tour on Airbnb experiences. So this is how you book your stay, whether that be an Airbnb, a hostel, a hotel, luxury hotel, couch surfing. It literally depends on the type of traveler you are. Bougie, get your ass out the kitchen. Rápido. Vámonos, vámonos, vámonos. Let's go, vámonos, vámonos, out the kitchen. This is my bilingual poodle, okay? He was being bad, had to get him out the kitchen. So it always depends on what type of vibe you are in. For me, I like to be within the nightlife. I'm young, so I like to be out where they throwing ass at, where they drinking, where they partying. That's where I need to be. So I'm like, okay, let me do Barranco. But I'm a little bougie, but I'm broke. So I had to do an Airbnb high rise instead of like a luxurious hotel. But honestly, I don't think any of the luxurious hotels were in the area that I would have wanted it to be in. So it worked out. And the hotel was, the Airbnb was really nice. The host was really nice. I felt extremely safe. It was extremely clean. But that's how you book your stay. Do you want to be around people? Go to a hostel. And if you're on a budget, go to a hostel. If you want to party, like it's $19.99, you got to do a hostel. If you like want to take it day by day and kind of pick and choose what you want to do, that's when the Airbnbs and the luxury hotels come in. Because it's like You're not gonna get the amenities with the Airbnb, but you'll get that sense of, you know, alone time. If you want a hotel and you want, you know, you want your shit cleaned out every day, you want the amenities, the room service, all that, that's when you get your hotel. It's very inclusive to what you want to do, but also don't ever book something that's near the airport under any circumstances. Just about every city in the world, the airport is never near what you going to that city for. That's so dumb. I hate when people visit Atlanta and try to see me and they're like, oh yeah, we in College Park. Like, why are you all the way over there? Why? Nobody lives by the airport. Get your ass in the city. Yes, spend an extra coin. Otherwise, you're gonna be spending it in Ubers. Anyway, so like, that's how you do it. You wanna always know where you're gonna be at. Like, what are the things you wanna do when you go visit that place? Then you book your hotel or your hostel, whatever the fuck, around that area. You don't just book what's the cheapest or what's the nicest. You book within the area you're gonna be at most of the time. That's how that works, duh. So for me, I'm like, I knew that Barranco and Miraflores was gonna be the place to be. You know, that's where that's where the party at, that's where the food at, that's where the people at. So I'm like, let me book me an Airbnb within Miraflores or Barranco. And that's what I did, okay? Duh. So that's how you do Lima. Lima is extremely affordable. As soon as I landed in the airport, I went ahead and exchanged my USD for the soles. It was about a 3% tax. So I think at first I exchanged about like $140 USD just to see how much I would actually be using it. Bougie, silencio. Ven aquí, vamos, 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 vamos. En la calle, en la calle, en la calle. And that's just the tea on Lima. Like, Lima is so travel friendly. I felt so safe the whole time. It was freaking lit. That's the first part of Lima. After about 2 days, I went ahead and went to Cusco, because when you think of Peru, you think of Machu Picchu. So that's what I came to Peru for. I'm thinking like, okay, I'll spend a couple days in Lima, I guess, but I really came here for Machu Picchu. Anyway, so I pull up to Cusco 2 days later. Flew from Lima to Cusco, very easy, about an hour-and-a-half flight. Whatevs. So get there, altitude hit a bitch. Like, it wasn't as bad as everybody says. Like, I felt out of breath, but I wasn't sick from it, okay? Now here, I went ahead and got me a little luxury hotel at the Antigua San Blas, okay? So I pulled up there, baby. This is a luxury. I have a whole video on how luxurious this hotel was. But this is a place where I was like, okay, I'm here to do excursions and stuff, not necessarily to mingle, so I don't really need to be where the party at, where the vibes is at. And Cusco wasn't even really given that. Like, it was given, you come in here to do activities, you come in there to do like, it was not given like, you come here to, you know, throw it back, throw a couple shots back. You don't do that there. So I went there, same ordeal, exchange. There was way more places to exchange in the town. Bougie. So like, I went ahead and exchanged my money, my USD for cash. One thing I didn't do was exchange all of my USD for soles. I never do that when I travel, and I think that's very smart. Like, I kind of exchange as I go. I try to take like $200 max in whatever the local currency is and exchange that. $200 of USD and exchange that in the local currency, because I know that sometimes I end up having money left over. Because some places are wishy-washy. Sometimes you pay, you know, with your card. Some of them it's like, no, we only do cash here. So I try to even it out and not, you know, use all of my USD. So that's how that was. And it was free everywhere. I didn't pay any fees all around Cusco when I was exchanging my money. Cusco was also very walkable, but the altitude sickness gonna kick you in the ass. So I did do a little bit more, you know, Ubering than I did in Lima. So I will say that Machu Picchu was everything that I expected it to be. So this is how you do the Machu Picchu. I have a whole video on it, but baby, first vámonos, ven aquí, vamos, vamos, vamos. So Machu Picchu, the first thing you want to do is, of course, get your Peru rail ticket. This is how you get to Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is actually 4 hours outside of Cusco, Peru. So what you gotta do is, you gotta get from Cusco to this little town called Aguascalientes, which is really where Machu Picchu is. It's not in Cusco, it's in Aguascalientes. You gotta go to perurail.com, and you gotta get a bus to a train to get to Machu Picchu. and you definitely got to do that online, or you could do it. I actually paid for mine in the Lima airport right before I left. I think I paid about $180 for the bus and train because I got the Vista Dome, which is like the higher up train. So went ahead and did that. Then you gotta book your Machu Picchu ticket online. Can't do it. You can't be at the Machu Picchu gates trying to book that. So you do that, and then after that, you want to go ahead and after you book your Machu Picchu ticket, I decided to stay one night in Aguascalientes. So I spent, you know, I got my hotel for 5 nights, but one of the nights I was spent in Aguascalientes because to get to Peru, to get to Aguascalientes, where Machu Picchu is, the earliest time you can go to Machu Picchu is like about 9 a.m. because the bus leaves at 4 a.m. from Cusco to get you to Aguascalientes because it's a 4 ride. It's like an hour and a half and some change. Hour and some change from the bus. Then you get to the bus station. Then you get to the train station, and then to the train station it's another hour. So it's almost about 4 hours to get to Machu Picchu. By that time it's 9 a.m. and 4 hours of a train and bus and stuff. One, I'm exhausted. I don't feel like going on a 2.5 hour hike, which was what Machu Picchu is. And I wanted to be there when nobody else was there. So Machu Picchu opens at 6, but when you catch the bus and the train, which is the only way to get there, you'll be there at 9 a.m. at the second time that it opens. And I didn't want that. So I ended up staying the night. So the next morning I could just wake up at 5 a.m., be the first one to catch the bus up there. And boom, it was basically empty. I basically had Machu Picchu to myself. Me and my tour guide was able to take our time, walk, talk, chop it up, get good footages, and had nobody in the back room. Like, you can't beat that. So you can stay, I got a cheap little $20 hostel. Just looked up hostels in Aguascalientes, or a lot of them you could just go there and do cash. It was exactly what I needed for the $20 I spent. Had a beautiful view of the river, Urubamba, I believe that's how you pronounce it. 10 out of 10, child. So like I said, to get to Peru, to get to Machu Picchu, you gotta catch the Peru Rail, which is a bus and a train to Aguascalientes. And after you purchase that, you have to buy your Machu Picchu ticket online on the Machu Picchu website, and then you have to go ahead and how else do you do that? Then you have to buy your ticket to Machu Picchu, and if you want to, you can hike up to Machu Picchu, or you can take the bus. I took the bus. Regardless, I have a video and a Twitter thread on how to get to Machu Picchu. Okay, well, let's get to that. But it was just like, it's so surreal seeing how the Incas and the, natives used to live there, and how they were able to fucking build that so that if things like earthquakes happen, that it wouldn't completely ruin like the architecture there. Learning about the history of the Incas, learning about their native language, because Spanish is not native to the country. That's a white language, European language. The food, the freaking llamas and the alpacas, like Peru was a vibe. Like, I would recommend anybody do Peru solo or with the group, but like to experience that by myself was just so liberating, and it was so bomb, and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. Like, I have nothing but great things to say about Machu Picchu or Cusco or Peru, none of that. So after that, I went ahead and spent time in Cusco walking around. I stayed in the San Blas area, and that was a really nice vibe. After that, I went ahead and did this hike called Rainbow Mountain. I would never do that shit again because the altitude was kicking my ass. It was extremely cold because it was upstairs. It was up in the mountains. Had to catch a horse because I couldn't take the altitude. But if you are a hiker, I think you would enjoy the challenge. I'm like a fake hiker, so yeah. But the thing about solo traveling is you can do everything on your time. So don't feel the need to book everything in advance and have everything in line. When I booked Rainbow Mountain and Machu Picchu, I booked both of those the day before. Machu Picchu was 2 days before, Rainbow Mountain was the day before. And it's like, when you on your own time traveling, like, you figure out what you want your own itinerary to be. You don't have to follow anybody's rules. Obviously do your research on figure out, how to book places, because sometimes you may need to book something in super advance, but fuck it, do what you gotta do, okay? But that's how you do freaking Cusco, boo. You just look on Airbnb experiences, or get your guide, a TripAdvisor, whatever the case may be, whatever floats your boat, and you just book you a little tour or something to do. But that's like one of the best ways to meet people, because I think people think solo travel equals lonely. When I was in Lima, I booked an Airbnb experience on a tour, super last minute, literally an hour before it started while I was at breakfast. There was only one other girl on the trip. When we finished the tour up, the girl was hungry, I was hungry. We like, you wanna go get lunch together? We went ahead and got lunch, chopped it up. What I learned that she was 22, she was from London. She was backpacking South America because she's on a gap year. She just finished and got her master's. She's backpacking around South America solo. And it's like conversations in situations like that would never happen if you're on a group trip. You would never organically or put yourself out there to go out and eat with somebody or talk to somebody. You would never do that because you're gonna stay enclosed and within your group. You're never gonna put yourself in a position to meet other people because you're like, I got my homies with me, like, this all I need. But it's like when you're solo and you wanna mingle, you gotta talk to people. You gotta conversate, okay? So we chopped it up for hours, went out, got gelato, exchanged WhatsApps, like it was a whole vibe. And it's like, you can't do that when you're with other people. Or not you can't do it, but like, what's the likelihood of you stepping out of your friend group when you're on vacation to go invite somebody in or kick it with them? That doesn't happen. But it's like, why not? We both hungry, we just both finished this tour, why not just go kick it? You know, this is like a really great experience, like let's go do it, boo. So anyway, we went ahead and did that. And then after that, I went out that night. I went, took a nap because we was walking around Miraflores on a tour for like 2 hours, 2, 3, probably 4 hours, something like that. And it's just like experiences like this, you have to solo travel to experience certain things. After I went to Cusco and did Machu Picchu and Rainbow Mountain, I had to fly back to Lima because that's how I got back to Atlanta. And then I decided to stay in a hostel because, baby, like I said, I ain't rich, but and how I found out about this hostel was because I went on the tour, and the girl that I, was on the tour with me and I was kicking it with, she recommended this, and so did the tour guide. They recommended this hostel. I didn't even have the hostel booked until 2 days before. Like I tell you, like, you can do little last minute shit like this. Like, if I didn't book the hostel, I would have had to look on, booking.com and try to find the reviews like I did my hotel and Airbnb. But like, I got a personal, actual recommendation from somebody who stayed there. So I'm like, duh, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna book it there. So I booked this place called the Black Llama. Babe, this was the highlight of the trip. Like, I told y'all Machu Picchu was amazing and Cusco was, but staying here was the littest shit about my fucking vacation. One, because I booked it and it was on a Wednesday and it just so happened to be salsa night. And I went upstairs to the bar because on your first night there, you get a free drink. So I went up to the bar around 8 o'clock. You have to be there at 8 o'clock. I'm thinking it's 8 o'clock, ain't nobody about to be here. It's 8 o'clock, they probably just now putting the bar stools down. Baby, I went there, baby, it's thick in there. Everybody and their mom who in Lima there, not even just the people that stayed at the hostel. Ended up meeting another black person there from Atlanta who sold all his things and moved to South America because he just wanted a new change in life. Chopped it up with him and changed social media with him. Learned, you got a few salsa lessons. Met another person who another Peruvian who used to live in Atlanta. Met another Cuban, I believe. He's from Miami, but he moved to Lima because he hated America. And like, it's just like, you don't get this shit when you're never gonna put yourself in a situation like this when you are group traveling or something like that. So it's like, I really appreciate the little things like that when I'm traveling, not just the Machu Picchus and the hikes and the touristy things, but when you're just having a conversation with somebody and meeting somebody that's from where you from or learning about why people there. I was able to practice my Spanish, I was able to meet people. And because Lima's so cheap, like the people that I was talking to at my table that I was chopping it up with, I just bought shots. I'm like, pisco sours for everybody, a pisco shot for everybody and their mama, okay? Let's run it up. I bought like 5-6 shots for like $20. Like, run it up, like, let's go. So it was just like, that was the highlight of my life, because like, you can't do this when you're with other people. Like, I just put myself out there, talk to people with my broken Spanish, and they spoke to me with their broken English, and it was just a whole vibe. That is how you solo travel. You do not go there with a skin tight itinerary on, I'm going to do this day at this time. Go there, like, have your list of things you want to do and book what you have to book in advance, but everything else kind of just like play it by ear. Kind of just like, this is the vibe. I'm gonna feel the vibe out while I'm there. I'm gonna see what I got going on. I'm gonna determine that when I get there, and like I'm gonna just let it flow. Like that's the best vacations, is when like the unexpected things. Like I did not expect, like I said, it was 8 o'clock at night. I'm thinking the bar about to be empty. I'm about to get a drink and go back downstairs until like 12 and then go back up there. Maybe the bar was lit. Like I was literally out till 3 a.m. Ended up meeting people at the people that I met at the bar. We ended up going out to other places, because I'm telling you, the nightlife in Miraflores, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, boom. You know, and it's just like I had a time I would not have if I did not solo travel, and I'm so thankful for that. And like everybody in Lima, like I tell y'all, that's the whole reason for my content. I curate content for people who want to solo travel and they don't know where to start, or they feel like am I really gonna have fun? It's like, am I gonna be lonely? Baby, I have the time. Like I can't wait to go somewhere else by myself. Okay, I can't wait to do it. So get your ass on a flight to Lima. Get your ass on a flight to Cusco. Do what you gotta do. But baby, Lima was like one of the most, even though I will say we will need to know some Spanish, because it's not as English friendly as like a Mexico or Puerto Rico. But you know, you could know a little bit to get around. But I just had the best time ever. Like, I can't wait to go back to Peru. That was a vacation for the books. I'm gonna be talking about Peru for the rest of my life. This was a vacation for the books, child. Like.